everybody, this is Mrs. Miller. I have done a personalized video for each class specifically, but I just wanted to do sort of an overall welcome to school, all classes, all students, all families, and just in general information about my classes this school year and what that's going to look like. So I've done a little bit of sort of a personal introduction on each of those welcome to this particular class videos, but this is my contact information. It's also listed in my syllabus, but just here again for reference for you. Email really is going to be the most reliable way for you to get a hold of me, particularly for distance learning, but also just in general for when we get back into classrooms. Because I can, sometimes steal a couple minutes to sit down and check it. And if it's something that I can get back to you, really quickly about, then I can go ahead and do that. And then we're not playing a game of phone tag or something. So please do try to reach out to me via email first with any particular questions. So this year, you may already be familiar with what our school district is calling the Core Four. These are the four sort of applications that we're going to be using for doing most of our teaching and learning this year. So Google Meets is where we'll do our synchronous interactions with students. They can come join and ask questions, and we can talk about the content and so on and so forth. Google Classroom is where students will be receiving work each week, receiving feedback. It's where they'll submit work as well. Google Drive is where all of our materials and resources for both students and staff members are stored and organized. So your student has a Google Drive. And then Screencastify is what I am using right now to record this video, and that at some point your student will likely be asked to utilize as well. And I'll be sure that I send out, at least just sort of some introductory tutorials for that the first time. So those are kind of the four major tools that we'll be using this year. It's not to say that there won't be some other ones every once in a while, but I'll be sure to explain, kind of explicitly how they work and what we're using them for. This is the daily schedule, which you, I'm sure, have seen and have access to, but again, here just for your information and just so that you have information in more than one place. I think that that can be helpful sometimes. So in terms of your schedule and my office hours, I obviously will be hosting Google Meets by class period, but these are times when I'm available to answer emails and kind of be able to check in one-on-one and answer some questions with students. Um, so these are, generally sort of what we refer to as office hours, and that's when students and families can send me a communication via email, and I will get back to you as soon as I'm able to do so. Students also really encourage you to come to Google Meets, of course. This is really where we're going to be building connections, and you can come ask questions about the content, and we can get to know each other and share ideas and inspirations and things like that throughout the year. There are times where I will hopefully be able to work into the schedule to host a Google Meet on a Wednesday for a particular class. Um, the benefit I see in being able to offer that from time to time is if you have a major um, deadline coming up in class, and it would just be an extra opportunity to come and ask questions and get support on whatever it is that we're working on for that major deadline. So some norms and expectations. Um, Again, meets are not required, which I'm sure that you're aware of, but it's really, really helpful for you to come and to show your face. I really would love to start being able to put some faces to names, and meets is a really easy way to do that. Do what you can to make sure that you got all of your materials and work and things prepared before you sit down to join the meet, so that you're just kind of ready to go. We don't have a whole lot of time together, so we want to make sure that we utilize all the time that we do have, and try to settle in a quiet place that doesn't have distractions, hopefully, so that you can focus and be engaged in the conversation. When you arrive to a Google Meet, I am going to ask that you automatically mute yourself. It just helps to eliminate background noise and echo and allows us to really focus on the person who is speaking at that time. Do let me know in the chat that you're here. I am going to take attendance for Meet. It is not, again, a requirement, but just kind of for my information and then to be able to relay that information back out to families. Just, hey, your student was here. I saw them today. It was great. Do make sure that we're following, CKSD kind of behavioral expectations when we meet. This is just like when we're in the classroom. So showing up and being prepared and, um, you know, inviting others into the conversation and waiting for your turn to talk, using academic language. Um, a really important privacy thing, we are not doing any screenshots or recording of anything on Meet, so please make sure that you're aware of that. Staying engaged is also really important, so body language means a lot. Eye contact, being able to look at the camera. I notice that I often find myself actually looking at the little image of the person who's talking instead of looking at the camera, which is not quite the same thing, but it's interesting how much our human to human interactions are trying to transfer via technology. Um, it's okay to use the chat, absolutely. That's a good place to ask questions, but please do so mindfully because we have to keep up on the chat as well as the verbal conversation, and that can be a little bit of a challenge if we're using it in a way that is not entirely focused. And then just this is for you, right? The meets are for you to show up and have some engagement and time with your peers, and to be able to ask me questions and things like that. So I'm really excited to see you in a meet, and hopefully you're excited to be there as well. Just kind of a brief tour of Google Classroom for those of you who may be unfamiliar with it. There are two ways to join a Google Meet. One of them is up at the banner at the top of your particular class. And then if you're in the classwork tab, there's also a little icon with the word Meet next to it. So you can access the Meet either way. I do have to have started it before a student can join. So if you show up a couple minutes early and it's not running yet, just hang tight and try again in a minute or two, okay? The stream for our classes is particularly for classroom announcements and reminders. You will not see any classwork or assignments show up in the stream. I have that set to just be a place for announcements and communications. Okay. You'll notice that there's a box on the left that says upcoming, so you can also have just sort of a little at a glance view of what work is going to be due soon. The classwork tab is where your assignments will be posted. I am organizing them by unit generally, so I just used Honors Freshman as a quick example here. These are much more loaded with information at this point, particularly the important information topic. So classwork is again where you'll see any materials that are useful. Assignments will be posted there, along with the weekly learning plan for each week. And again, they will be organized by unit. So you can scroll, or you can also click on the specific topic on the left to get to whatever unit it is that you're looking for. Students, I'm going to send you your join code via your school email address, so you do need to make sure that you check your email and use that to join our Google Classroom. Parents and guardians, once your student is in the Google Classroom, I can send you an invitation so that you can receive updates. There is a little bit of customization, I believe, that you can do so that you can select sort of like your level and frequency of update that you want to get. But that's a really easy way for you to be able to stay involved in what's going on in the Google Classroom in particular. So either your student can send you an invitation or I can send you an invitation, but I do have to have your student in the classroom before I can do that for you. Here's how you're going to sign your syllabus. This is for both families and for students. On the very last page of the syllabus, um, you can see underneath my name, there are two hyperlinks, and the first is for the parent and guardian, and then the second is for the student. So all you need to do is click on that. It's just a few clicks and inputting some extra information if you'd like to, and then you just ask to turn it in. So pretty straightforward. For grading, each class does have its own particular categories, but I will be using this overall scale for all of my classes. So this is sort of our 2020-2021 school year specific grading scale. And there's more information about grades in the syllabus, so please do make sure that you read that section particularly carefully because it is different for this year in particular. Here are some tips for success for students, particularly when working from home. It's really important that you do try to create a workspace that is just for you, and it's a place where you do your schoolwork, and it's not a place where you relax or play games or listen to music or whatnot. I find that it's really helpful, in particular, to separate where you work from where you sleep, for example, so that you're not carrying sort of that active, engaged brain activity into a place that's supposed to be relaxing for you. Do try to remove distractions from your workspace. Put your phone on silent and kind of put it out of view, out of reach. Turn off what you can. If you like relaxing music in the background or something, that's great, as long as it helps you focus. I do recommend that you use a planner or an organizer of some sort. There's lots of options out there for you. Um, so just something to help you keep your due dates organized and things like that. Um, Also recommend prioritizing your work. It's really helpful, particularly if you're feeling like, oh my gosh, I'm kind of overwhelmed and I don't know where to start, or I have this big project that's due in 3 weeks. So kind of break things down and then prioritize what needs to be done first and why, and then do that. And then I do advise, particularly students, this is going to be really, really important while we're doing this virtual learning, is that you do check your email at least once a day. And I'm not saying that you need to, kind of go bonkers and check it every hour or something like that, but at least, in the morning when you sign on, spend a few minutes checking your email to see if there's anything you need to take care of, and then maybe perhaps in the afternoon once you sign off. Particularly if you ask a question of one of your teachers via email and you're waiting for a response, then you're going to have to check your email in order to get that response. Okay. And then last but not least, if you feel like you would like some more particular guidance, about how to set up some of these suggestions or see examples or something, let me know. That's something that I can definitely do to kind of help you out and make sure that you are set up for a successful year. So I'm really, really excited to meet you guys. I know it's a little bit different than what we were anticipating and expecting and hoping for this year, but um, we're gonna do great things. I'm really excited, and you're gonna be awesome, and I'm ready to go, and I hope you are too. Please again see your class specific presentation for some more information about your class. Those are posted both in Google Classroom and then on my YouTube channel, which I will be sending out to parents and guardians via email along with a link to the syllabus. So make sure you're checking those out too. Okay. All right. Thank you so much, everybody. Let's have a great year.